So it is June 14th at 11:37 a.m. and I am technically at my day job. And again, I work at home, but my anxiety is high right now and I don't feel like being on the phones. I am working on this short story. It is not a thriller, but it popped into my head several weeks ago, so I decided to just go ahead and write it. So it's about a young woman, and she thinks she's just, the normal average girl hanging out with her friend at the movies. But then she finds out by way of a stranger that she's not just an average person. She's not only a witch, but she's royalty. I want to read it, what I have so far, and then, because it's not something I'm going to publish, I don't think. So I'm going to read it based on what I have so far. Yay! Okay, so I won't be looking at the camera. That was the best movie ever. Even though you almost missed half of it, Veronica scolded as she held the door open. I got off work as fast as I could. Some of us have to pay our own bills, V. She smiled and avoided eye contact with her childhood friend. She playfully shrugged Moon's shoulder. Hey, it's not my fault you haven't snagged you a wealthy man like I did. I keep telling you, play the helpless damsel, and you'll find you a guy that will pamper you and spoil you with nice clothes and jewelry. You'd have your hair and nails done every week and live in a fancy house like me. And I keep telling you there's nothing helpless about me. I can work and pay my bills, change a tire and change the oil on my car, and if I had a yard, I would mow it myself. Yeah, but why would you want to? Veronica whined. They both laughed as they walked down the street to their cars. Hey, do you know them? Veronica asked. Moon let go of her door handle and looked at what her friend was staring at. 3 cloaked figures stood directly across the street facing her. Her stomach started aching, and she felt a wave of dread wash over her. No, she whispered. Hey, creeps! We have mace and guns, so you better not mess with us, Veronica yells, but they don't move. Let's get out of here, V. Moon opened her door and sat in her seat, but didn't take her eyes off them. She locked the car as soon as her door shut. Veronica honked once and waved goodbye to her friend as she drove past. Moon cranked her car and looked at her watch. 12:05? I need to get home. Nothing but jerks and weirdos out this late. Moon gets home and parks her car in the garage of the apartment. She usually parks 3 or 4 spots from the elevator so she doesn't have to walk far. She gets out and uses the key fob to lock the car as she starts to walk to the elevator. She reaches her hand to press the elevator button, then hears her car unlock. Stupid thing. She turns around and points the key fob towards the car and locks it again. Beep, beep. She turns back to the elevator and reaches to press the button. She hears the car unlock. Ugh, I'm too tired for this shit. She walks up to her car and opens the driver's side door. She manually locks the car and slams the door shut. Battery must be dying. A chill runs up her spine and she gets a sinking feeling in her gut. She slowly turns around. There's nothing there, but the sense of danger hasn't left her. She quickly glances around to check if she's alone. She is. She hugs her keys tight with the car key sticking out from between her fingers. She hastens to the elevator and pokes the button several times. She saw the button light up, and she could hear the working mechanics as the elevator climbed the shaft. She looks behind her to make sure she's not being followed or potentially attacked. Ding! She steps backwards as the door of the elevator opens. I need to stop. I'm freaking out. The elevator doors start to close. She sees a man in the reflection standing behind her. Her heart drops. She sneaks her fingers around the mace inside her pocket. She spins around and sprays the man in the eyes. Ah! He falls back onto the wall. Stay back! Why would you do that? The man says as he rubs his eyes. Why are you following me? Moon continues to point the mace at his face. I'm trying to protect you. There are ghouls after you. The man reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small bottle with a dropper attached. He drips the liquid into each eye. What the hell are you talking about? Ghouls aren't real. The man blinks several times, but he has quickly recovered. Ghouls are real. You're a witch. My name is Ian, and I have been watching after you for quite some time. Wait, you've been watching me? For how long? No, watching after you. Puzzled and confused, Moon thinks back. I've seen you. The coffee shop. The library. My job. The elevator stops and the doors open. Look out! Ian tries to grab her, but it's too late. Moon has been snatched out of the elevator and is being dragged away by a ghoul. Ah! Help! Ian runs after her. He pulls out his wand and points it at the ghoul. Boof! Another ghoul rams into him, knocking him to the floor and the wand out of his hand. Ian! The ghoul tries to jump on top of him. He kicks it away and clambers to the ground to reach for the wand. He grabs it and turns the wand onto the ghoul and swishes it in the air. The wand produces a bright light and the ghoul disintegrates into a puff of black mist. He gets to his feet and points the wand to the other ghoul just before it pulls Moon through a shadow portal. She falls to the floor in tears. Ian runs to her and helps her up. Her body is shaking. He wraps an arm around her and walks her to the elevator. Come on, it's not safe at night. The elevator door opens. Moon steps back in fear. The elevator door opens. Moon steps back in fear. It's okay, it's empty. He guides her inside and keeps his arm around her, but has his wand in the other hand as the elevator stops on the floor to her apartment. He walks her to the door and stands guard as she pats herself down for her keys. She can't find them. I dropped them. Ian points his wand to the lock and twists his hand as if he's unlocking the door with the key. The door unlocks. Stay here. I'll go check the apartment. Oh no, there's no way you're leaving me in this hallway by myself. There's no way you're leaving me in this hallway by myself. I'm coming with you. Ian nods. They walk into the apartment. Moon flips the closet switch. The living room lights up. She closes the door behind her. Ian checks the rest of the apartment, which doesn't take long since there are only 3 rooms. The coast is clear. Ian clears his throat. I'll be leaving. He heads for the door. Oh, no, you don't. Moon grabs the back of his coat, nearly pulling it off. She blushes. I'm sorry. I don't want to be alone if a bunch of weirdos are after me. Why aren't they after me anyway? Ian looks down at his feet and rubs the back of his head. What aren't you telling me? You already told me I'm a witch. And if I'm a witch, what are my powers? Well, do I even have powers? Do I have to get a wand to use powers? Ian takes a deep breath. The ghouls are after you because of how powerful you are, or potentially. I don't know what powers you have. It's different for everyone. We could get you a wand, but I don't think you need one. Why not? Wait, does that mean one of my parents were witches? Both of them are, actually. Are? The question slithers through her lips. You know my parents? No, my boss knows your father, and he knows of your mother. I was an orphan. My mother dropped me off at a fire station when I was a few weeks old. They didn't want me. Now you're telling me that's not true. Your parents gave you up to protect you, and they have kept an eye on you throughout your life. At least, that's what my boss told me. Tears fall down her cheeks. I don't understand. Moon walks over to the bed and sits at the edge. Ian slowly sits next to her. I was told that your mother and father were very powerful years ago. There was a lot of corruption back then. Your mother led a group of witches to help catch the bad guys. Your father was a part of that group. My parents were too. There was a rumor that a war was about to break out, but your mother found out she was pregnant with you. Your parents went into hiding to protect themselves and you. Some really bad guys found out where they were, and your mother barely got out with you in time. Did your parents give you up too? They didn't have to. Moon looked at him with anger. He realized then how that sounded. They were killed, is what I meant, she gasped, and instinctively grabbed his hand. They looked into each other's eyes. I'll sleep on the couch. Ian stood from the bed and walked to the couch. Okay. Moon walked to the linen closet in the bathroom and pulled out the large throw blanket. She handed it to Ian. There's bread and turkey in the fridge if you're hungry, and lemonade in case you get thirsty. It's after 1 a.m. I should get some sleep before work. The left side of his mouth curls up. Thank you. The next morning, Moon is woken by the smell of bacon and pancakes, her favorite breakfast in the whole world. She gets out of bed and walks into the kitchen area without opening her eyes. She sits at the small two-seated table and opens her eyes just as Ian serves her the plate of her dreams. Thank you, she says as she chomps down on a mouthful of bacon and eggs. She washes the food down with fresh squeezed lemonade. So, when do you show me my powers? You have to figure out what your powers are. I can prepare you and teach you how to channel them, but your powers are yours to discover. Okay, when do I learn how to channel them? It would be better if I took you to school. Oh no, you're not putting me through an awkward 4 years of immaturity and judgment. It would be more like training sessions. Will I be surrounded by strangers that you'll expect me to network and socialize with? Ian thought about this for a moment. Yes. I'm not going. You'll be fine, Moon. Give it a chance. Why should I? Why can't you teach me everything? I'm a guardian. Even though there are things I can show you how to do, I can't teach you everything. I don't know everything. Fine, I'll go. But what? You have to be there with me. Ian reviewed their surroundings. When he set his sight on her, he noticed the grain-sized mole near the right corner of her bottom lip. He could see the pulse in her neck and smelled the strawberry shampoo in her hair. He's not allowed to fall in love with her. She's a princess, and unbeknownst to her, already betrothed. So, I know I stuttered. Sorry about that, but I hope you enjoyed it. Give me maybe some opinions in the comments. If you like this video, click the like button. If you desire, please subscribe.